Hello students, I'm Dr. Sarika Panwar. Today we will discuss about the data preprocessing and showcasing, which is a very important step in data analytics. Now, as far as data analytics is concerned, the data preparation, the data which we are available with, the data preparation is very important step. Okay, so my content of presentations are data preparation, steps in data preparation. What do you mean by box plot, tabulation, graphical representation, and we can see some demonstrations in MATLAB and Excel. Now, first thing is, why do we need the data preparation? We know that research begins with the collection of data, and the data which is collected is raw, it is incomplete, noisy, and inconsistent, and that may not be used for the analysis purpose. So, we need to convert the data which is raw, incomplete, and noisy into the suitable form for the analysis so that the stage of analysis is not difficult and uh, the data will be ready for the final results and analysis. So the data should be properly prepared before the analysis. So what is the definition of data uh, preparation? It is nothing but the translation of data in an appropriate form, which is known as data preparation. Basically, data preparation is an intermediate step between the collection of data and their analysis and interpretation. Data preparation helps in studying the data conditions, data orientation, and the data trained. Uh, Data preparation is a very crucial step in research. These are, in this diagram, we can observe the various steps in data preparation. It starts with the data set or questionnaire checking. Then next step is editing, coding, transcribing. Then comes the data cleaning and preparation, and after that we can statistically adjust the data. Once the data is statistically adjusted, then there are different methods of tabulation and graphical representation for the analysis purpose. What do you mean by dataset or questionnaire checking? Whenever the data is in the form of data is collected in the form of answers of some questions, then it involves a check of all questions for completeness and interviewing quality. We check that whether all the questions are right or not. Is there any ambiguity in a question? Is there any complicacy in a questionnaire? Any question where respondent has not filled the answer correctly? Okay, so that all things we need to check. Then comes the editing part. Editing is the review of the questionnaire with the objective of increasing accuracy and precision. Editing of data is a process of examining the collected raw data to detect the errors and omission and to correct those when possible. When the data collection is over, the final checkup is done for data preparation. So, editing helps to identify unreadable, incomplete, inconsistent, or ambiguous responses. It identifies the similar responses and get into inference, and we can discard the responses altogether. There can be different types of editing like field editing and central editing. In field editing, abbreviations and illegible responses are corrected at the time of recording. It should be done after the interview, and completeness of the form should be checked. In central editing, which is done after all records are collected, it may be done by a team of editors. Central editing is obvious errors such as wrong place entry recorded in different units are corrected. It discards the wrong answers if not possible to correct. What is the significance of editing? It helps in removal of incorrect entry. Important of it is important for getting the accurate results. It ensures the data consistency and it converts the answers in uniform units of. Next part is the coding part. Coding is the process of organizing the data into classes or categories, and that we do for the simplification of analysis. Basically, numerical or other symbols are assigned to responses according to the category in which they fall. We can understand the coding part with some example. Now, in this diagram, we can observe that this is the data of the subjects reported by the students, majors reported by the students. So, total 75 students have given the response, but 21% students have given the response as CS, which is nothing but the computer science. For the same subject, computer science, some of the students are reporting it as a computer science. Then next, 5% of the students are considering it as a com sci. So actually, these 21%, this 12%, and 5% total have 39% students have reported the major as computer science, but with some different name. Similarly, for mathematics, some of the students are referring it as a mathematics. 3% of the students are referring it as a math. Actually, the subject reported is same, but they are referring the name with different symbols, we can say. So in such cases, we can do the coding. So we can uh, make the classification rather. So it is actually considered as a classification process, and it is used to compartmentalize the several answers into a small number of classes. So like we have done in this example, these various classes have compartmentalized into five classes like computer science, computer engineering, CE, physics and mathematics, and others 19%. Okay, so we can say that it is used to compartmentalize several answers into a small number of classes. It is done with some set of rules. Classes or categories should be reasonable and appropriate to the problem under study. What is the significance of coding? Coding is useful in classification of responses in meaningful categories, and it simplifies the task of processing the information. Uh, Next comes the transcribing. Transcribing involves the transferring the coded data from questionnaire or coding sheet onto disk or directly into computers by key punching or other means. So actually transcribing have a large summary sheet which contain all the responses. It may not be necessary in case of few responses. In such cases, simple table will also do. Next data purification step, we will discuss it in next part. Thank you, students.